You are now listening to the voice of horror.
Lock your doors, bolt your windows, and turn off the lights. Make sure the kids are safe at home, because you're headed to the Nightwatch zone.
You think it's over now? You're wrong.
All aboard the night train.
It's over, Prime.
This is the siege.
I'm a man of my word.
Hey. Yeah. Dead or alive, consider this home. No killing the vibe in the Nightwatch zone. Xenomorphs hype when the lights come on. Hit a like and subscribe and the show might blow. Go viral, no COVID. It's a spiral. Emotions, hand on the Bible. Only go sign on the dopest your vitals. Better tune in, yeah, you know it's vital. From Schwarzenegger to Kane Hodder, Corey G down to Harry Potter. Shit's Sigourney Weaver of the Nightwatch zone. Come with me to the Nightwatch zone.
There are two things a man should never run from, even if they cost him his life.
Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on a Monday night slasher movie club. Coriander, we're back in the saddle, literally, after taking a little bit of a vacay, bro. I mean, you know, sometimes you got to do that. Yeah, it took a couple days off, and you know, did some hanging out and relaxing, and you know, now we're geared up to not only a very busy week on the Nightwatch zone tonight, Tuesday night, Thursday morning, but with our announcement that we just made just a few minutes ago with our good buddy Steven from Craving Something Scary, we're going deep into Halloween Fest, 13 weeks as we head to Halloween itself, man. This is going to be an awesome several weeks on the channel, and hopefully all of you guys in the community are going to have a blast as well. Let's just see who we got in the chat before we get started on 1986's classic, The Hitcher, starring C. Thomas Howell, Jennifer Jason Leigh, and the incomparable late great Rutger Hauer in the chat. Paula's in the chat. Hey, Paula, welcome over here. Good to see you over here, saying
Nice.
just subscribe. Well, thank you so much, Paula. Very cool. We appreciate that. And definitely I've seen you so many times over on my good buddy Steven's channel, Craving Something Scary. But thank you for coming over here. We appreciate you. And Jason, you're all right, man. You guys are always so welcoming to everyone. Seriously, thank you so much for welcoming Paula.
And
Brandon,
those kind
as well.
words. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. Seriously. Very, very cool. Rick's in the house again. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us, brother.
Very nice.
And of course, from the inner committee himself, the man, Mr. Dan, in the house. What's up, Dan? Good to see you too.
Yeah.
Gina's here. Good to see you, Gina.
Hello.
Dan keeps throwing out that quote. Hiya, kids. You gotta love it. Oh my God. Eric's in the chat. What's up, man?
Hello.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Castellar, what's up? What's up?
Hey.
And you gotta love May. May says, hey everyone, long time no see. Missed y'all.
Right.
Thank you so much, May. We
It's
appreciate
nice to see you again, right?
Yeah, you guys, seriously, you guys are all right. You guys are all right. Yeah, that's right, Eric. And Eric, obviously, you know, one of our best friends and just so amazing. And you're right, man. Got to take those days off, recharge the batteries. He knows just as well as anyone because he's with us so much, you know, on a regular basis. That's right. Tomorrow night's Battle World. It's gonna be crazy. But he knows the schedule that we try to keep to. And thank you so much for that, man. We appreciate you. And of course, this Thursday night, just to tease, the return of the Deadly Venoms. Finally, we got the schedule tied down. What is it? 7 different channels coming together. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great, man. Absolutely, Dan. Absolutely. So, Coriander, let's get into this. Talking about this movie.
Mhm.
First of all, any opening thoughts before we get necessarily into the story? You know, maybe like your connection to this movie when you first saw it and stuff like that.
I just remember the first time I saw it,
Mm-hmm.
I like, oh God. I mean, I fell in love with it. It's a
Yeah.
great movie from start to finish. I mean, it starts in right off and it doesn't quit till the credits roll. And yeah, you feel so bad for this kid. And, I say kid, but he's a young adult. And I
Right.
swear, yeah, that was the same leather jacket he wore in The Outsiders. 'Cause, you know,
Right. Heck yeah,
but
man. Heck yeah.
anyway,
Um.
it's so good. Yeah, it's one of my favorites. After I finished it, I knew that it was going to be a regular. So, and
mhm.
it's been a while since I've seen it. So I'm glad we're doing it. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Eric, you're right. Shout out to Blind Fury with Rutger Hauer. Rutger Hauer has been in a lot of great films, guys. And for you guys to have not
yeah.
seen The Hitcher, or if you're not too familiar with Rutger Hauer, who unfortunately isn't with us any longer, um, first of all, I'm glad you're here because I want to spread the knowledge and the love of his filmography and wonderful skills. He's just amazing.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of amazing films, man.
He's evil in this. He plays an evil dude really well.
He
And
does. He really
yeah,
does, man.
he's
He
so good in
does.
this movie.
Well, for me, I had gotten onto the train a little bit late with The Hitcher, and I'm so
Really?
glad. Yeah, well, and I've seen so many of Rutger Hauer's films since I was a kid, most notably
Mhm.
things like Blade Runner. But I'm so glad that I did, and it's such a fantastic film. So to get into this, man, it starts off, and I kid you not, guys. We're discussing this with you guys. Let us know what you think too. We
Mhm.
will be getting into spoilers, but we will get to those spoilers chronologically, so please don't throw those into the chat for those who haven't seen this movie. But I just want to say in the beginning of the film, as you can see, Rutger Hauer is, hitching a ride from C. Thomas Howell, and the first 6 minutes of this film is almost like a mini film in and of itself, because you have this interaction with
Mhm.
Rutger Hauer, who's playing John Ryder,
Mhm.
and C. Thomas Howell's playing Jim Halsey, and just the tension and atmosphere, the dialogue and the camera work were fantastic, in my opinion. What,
Yeah.
what did what did you think about this conversation, especially when Rutger Hauer, I'll just call him Ryder because that's who he is in the film,
Mhm.
when he kind of let the cat out of the bag about his intentions? What did you think how this scene played out, Coriander?
Oh yeah, this was a great scene. This was a scene where instantly this is like a the more you know moment, right? Don't pick up
Yes,
hitchhikers ever in your
yes,
life, ever.
yes, yes,
And yeah, I mean, damn, once you found out his intentions, I mean, yeah, the intensity, it grew. I
yes.
mean,
Hmm.
what the hell was his name again?
Who, Jim Halsey?
Yeah. Oh, Jim.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
Jim.
Jeez. He says it enough. I think
Yeah,
I'd remember that.
it's
But
all right.
yeah, I mean, but he was so good in this role, and you could feel his fear.
Hmm.
You could feel like, holy shit, what am I gonna do?
Right.
And it was so good. They were both so good in these roles. So the
Yeah.
opening scene, yeah, it sold me.
Well, and the thing of it was, this was just the first six or 7 minutes, guys. Like, they're
Yeah.
in the car. Jim picks up this Hitcher, and at first he's very kind of quirky, and then all of a sudden Jim says something, that's, I forgot exactly, but the writer says, "Well, that's exactly what the last guy said," and he's like, "Well, what'd you do to him?"
Yes.
And that's when writer
Mhm.
says, "I cut off his legs, I cut off his arms, I cut off his head."
Yes.
And then he smiles, and look at Rutger Hauer, guys. There was so many great little physical things he did along with his
Mhm.
acting. And this scene, like I said, was almost like a mini film. This could have been a short film. You know what I mean? This was just so interesting, their
Hmm.
their their interaction. But look at C. Thomas Hall was great in this as well, man, because
Yeah.
he is scared shitless
Throughout this whole movie. I
Yeah,
mean, this poor kid gets put through everything.
hell.
Yes.
Absolutely. And when Ryder puts the knife up to his eye and says, "Do you
Mhm.
know the sound an eye makes when it gets popped
Ew,
out?"
right?
It was crazy stuff, man. But real quick too in the
Mm-mm.
chat, just to say goodbye to Eric, saying I'll catch the replay of this one. Got to finish up research for tomorrow night. See you guys
All
then. Have a good
right.
night. Great chat.
Have a good one.
The Hitcher is so good. It really is, man.
Yes.
Jason saying the first moments in this film started out with a bang, so bone-chilling. Cinematography throughout this entire film was fantastic. I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, definitely late night on HBO. Yep. And Dan
You
also
know, it
saying,
makes me want to do Duel. We should do Duel on this
well,
channel.
maybe
this
there was definitely that
Slasher Movie Club.
there was definitely that homage in this film later on. But Dan
Yeah.
was saying highly recommend some of his earlier Dutch films, especially Soldier of Orange. Now I haven't seen Soldier of Orange.
Hmm.
I'll have to check that out.
I
Man.
haven't either.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
Brandon saying Ryder just takes his show on the road like Art the Clown. That's right. That's right. But you know, Jim Halsey is scared out of his mind, as he should be. And Ryder is just so creepy, so quirky, but has that charisma. And Jim finally realizes that the door was ajar, and he kicks Ryder out of the vehicle. And then
Yeah.
to harken
That
back
was
to
so
what Jason
smart.
was saying, yeah, well, that's the only thing he could do. But
Yeah.
to piggyback back to what Jason was saying, and we said it earlier too, the cinematography in this film is great because you have this shot of Ryder getting off of the ground because he got thrown out of the vehicle, and just how the camera follows him like that. I love that.
And
There was
his
so many great
eyes.
moments.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, the blue of his eyes with with just the background, it
Yeah.
intensifies them. And you can still see
Absolutely,
him from
man.
this angle,
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know, so that's
Yep.
really cool.
Now, Dan, I totally agree. Dan's going to appreciate this because, you know, we had our moments talking about the Wrong Turn films, and we might jump back to those. We'll see. But what we said in those movies, and the same thing's going on here, Coriander. Why the hell are you in the middle of nowhere? Look at how
Well,
bare
he's driving
this
to
place is.
California, so
Listen,
that makes you
listen,
go out in the middle of nowhere.
listen. You go where there are people, brother. There was like 3 other people in this film other than Rutger Hauer. No, I'm just joking. But it just seemed like there was no one around. Look how bare it is. But Jim
Oh,
Halsey,
certain states, they're like the desert, just like
well,
you're
it's true.
seeing.
No, but I'm just
So
having
there
fun.
you go, man. I
Yeah,
know, but
I'm just having
still,
fun though.
I
But
wouldn't be doing that alone. And I would
no,
definitely have a weapon. Totally.
exactly. But Jim is driving, you know, he kicked the hitcher out of the car. He's driving. He thinks he's, you know, all set, which all of us would
Mhm.
too. He has this really interesting, funny scene where he's yelling like, "Yeah, yeah, F you, buddy." And then he's driving up to the
Mhm.
station wagon, and he sees
Yeah.
this family, these two kids or whatever, in this family in the station wagon. And, you know, the little kids do what we all did as kids, you know, pretending to shoot a toy gun at you. And Jim Halsey he's as relaxed as he's been, you know,
Yeah, he's
forever
like,
at
I
this
got a
point.
second lease on life, you know?
Yes. Yes. And then as he's shooting the gun, guess who comes out from the back seat of the station wagon? Bro, when I first saw this, I was like, what? So there's Ryder
Yeah.
again with that devilish smile and look that
Mhm.
Rutger Hauer was able to always you know, do. And all of a sudden,
Mhm.
look at the look on Jim Halsey's face. He's like, what? I mean,
Yeah.
it's this, and again, guys, this is the first like 12 minutes of the movie. Like it's already like grabbed you and it's so tense, man.
Mhm.
So Jim is like, I gotta warn, you know, this family, which I'm sure most of us would be thinking. I mean, look, I mean, Rutger Hauer is in there with a kid, and
Yeah.
Jim is trying to warn these guys, but to no avail, you know, and
Yeah. Which is too
eventually,
bad.
yeah, you know, he gets clipped by that bus while he's trying to
Mhm.
warn the family, and then he gets kind of, you know, pushed to the side for a few moments, and then of course we don't see what happens, but
The slaughter, right?
we know that there was a slaughter because we saw blood dripping on his shoes when he looks into the station wagon and then throws
Yeah.
up. But in our next scene, he goes to this like garage type of area, and Ryder is there as well. And what a scene, man. I mean, the way these scenes were shot with these two and everyone, it was just so well done. What did you think when Ryder appeared in this garage? Because this was minutes after the station wagon situation.
Oh yeah, he like appears like Michael out of nowhere. It's
Yeah.
like next thing you know, you
Yes.
turn around and holy shit. Or,
Mhm.
you're sitting at the table covering your face and holy
Yes.
shit, he's right there.
Mhm.
So he
Yes.
has his perfect timing.
Yes, absolutely. And real quick too, our good friend Sir James is in the chat. What's going on?
Nice.
Sir James, obviously a huge fan of some of the classics from
Yeah,
back in the
Lady
day, like
Hawk.
we are.
Yeah, man.
Yes, and Rutger Hauer's
Oh my God, I
awesome.
haven't seen that since I was a kid.
Yeah, I love him in Lady Hawk, Blind Fury, and Blade Runner. Yeah, again, shout
Yeah.
out to Blind Fury, but Lady Hawk as well. A great
Right?
film. A great film. Um, but again, Ryder is all over the place. He just appears out of nowhere. Like you said, it's almost like Michael, man. But
Mm.
he gives Jim Halsey the keys and is basically like, go. And so Jim starts driving all of a sudden from out of nowhere. And this is where we get our dual homage. You've got Ryder in this souped up truck that is
Yeah.
chasing him and then
Yep.
almost runs him over at the gas station. It was crazy, man.
Mhm.
It was so much action.
Almost sets him on fire.
Yes. Well, he
Blows
had
them up almost.
yeah, well, Jim, is pushed onto the ground, and then Ryder
Mhm.
has a match because there's gasoline all over the place. And again,
Yep.
the camera work. Look at this. It's just
Mhm.
camera work that makes you see so much more than what's on the screen. You're feeling it. And then, of
Mhm.
course, I think Steven said it best last night when we did the watch party, which, by the way, you guys got to hang out with us when we do these watch parties. It's been so much fun. But look at the car. Like Jim Halsey barely escapes. And this is a car he's supposed to be delivering. He's doing a transport of the vehicle. That's why
Right?
he's on this trip across country. Look at the car. It's on
Yeah.
fire. The
No
car
thanks
is toast.
now. Right?
It's on toast, man. Uh, Dan, you're right, man. Perfect timing, almost too perfect. Is he supernatural? That's right. Yep. And speaking of Steven, we got our good buddy Steven in the house from Craving Something
All
Scary
right.
saying, hey
Hey.
guys, this was such a fun watch last night. It was,
It
man. It
was.
really
Yeah.
was.
Yep.
Absolutely agreed. Absolutely agreed. But yeah, Jim Halsey barely escapes the explosion. And, we don't
Mhm.
know what happened to Ryder, but then we're introduced to Jennifer Jason Leigh's character of Nash, who is going to work. She gets off of a bus transport and she
Yep.
goes to a diner. She works in a diner. And guess who comes to the diner? Jim Halsey is like, I need to use a phone. Bro, I don't know if I
Yeah.
would have let him in, right?
Well, she was the only one, and yeah, she was ballsy to do it, but
She was.
whatever. As long as she can take care of herself, why not?
Yeah.
And
Well,
he kind of had an innocent look about, he
yeah, I
didn't
mean, I
look.
think that's
He looked like, something happened. You know what I
yeah, I mean,
mean?
he that's the demeanor he has is he's a good
Yeah.
guy, an innocent
Yeah.
guy. And she even
Mhm.
said, "Hey man, let me give you, a burger and some fries." Steven just said it, man. You got to get the mac sauce, a side of fries, please. He said, "I'll take an order of Nightwatch Zone with a side of fries." You're all right, man. But look, sometimes when you're eating fries, Coriander, and if you don't pay attention, you
Yeah.
think it's a French fry,
Especially
and then
those fresh ones, because
you
those are
look
cut
down and
thick.
you see it's a finger. And man, this
Yeah.
kid, and I say kid, but he's a young man, but this kid did more throwing up in this film
He did.
because
And not only
he's
that, it's like, how long was that dude holding that finger in his pocket?
I know, man. Look at
That's
that.
gross,
It's
dude.
so
Yeah,
crazy. So he
that's
runs
gross.
outside so he can throw up. And then there's the cops that are after him. And that was a whole nother plot point that was really, really interesting that we'll get to in a second. But real quick, in the chat, we got Garrett. What's up, brother? From Born to Be
Hey.
Rad. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Saying this movie is amazing. About time
Yeah.
we're getting a new edition of this. What's up, man? What's up, everyone? Good to see you, brother.
Hey.
And if you guys haven't checked out Born to Be Rad, make sure that you do so immediately. You will not be disappointed. I really enjoy checking Garrett out with his live streams and stuff, man. Seriously.
Nice.
And Brandon, I'll take a slice of Craven Soul pizza with a side of finger fries. You
There
guys
you
are crazy.
go.
Oh my god. Melissa Coriander stayed for the watch party. She was there.
Yeah.
She was there. And
Yeah.
Steven as well. And also our good friend Carrie from Carrie Craves Cinema. Yeah. Yeah. You're welcome, man. No doubt. No doubt. You're very welcome. We gotta hook up sometime, brother. We gotta hook up sometime. But these cops, man, they're after the wrong guy because obviously they're tracking the murders. So they apprehend Jim Halsey, and you could just tell that Jennifer Jason Leigh, who's playing Nash, is kind of like, holy shit, was I almost gonna be killed by this guy? She's kind of confused. And again, Jim, he's an innocent looking guy, seems like a nice guy, but sure enough, he's being taken away by the cops. He's being interrogated, and he's telling them, "Hey, call my brother. We can get
I
this
mean,
thing
look
all
at his
straightened up."
face, right? Look at his eyes.
Yeah,
He just, you can always there's always something about the eyes, like
yeah,
like Jamie says in Halloween, there's evil in the eyes and you can see it.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah.
man.
Well,
This
even
poor kid.
one of the cops was saying to the one that apprehended Jim, said, "Look, this kid is not a killer. Come on, we got to let him go." But
That's right.
it's just how it is, man. It's just how it is.
Yeah,
Jason, you're right. The way he was treated by the cops was horrendous, man. I mean,
it
I mean,
was.
wow.
Once they think, yeah. I'm
It's crazy.
just gonna say it, you're a cop killer, then it's over for you,
That's
honestly.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. But then we cut to that scene where there's a lot of tension and stuff because he's in a cell, and all of a sudden when he wakes up, because he took a nap, he wakes up and the cell is unlocked. The cell is unlocked, and you hear the phone ringing. He's trying to figure out what's going
hmm
on. He's walking through some of the hallway, and it's really shot in a cool way. It's drawn out. There's a dog going around. You're like, what is the dog doing? And you find out that the cops are dead. They were killed. It was like
Yeah.
5 of them. 5 cops.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? What does that tell you?
That
So
that just makes you feel even more, you
more
just,
afraid.
yeah, for this poor kid. It's
Yeah,
like,
man. I
dude,
mean,
you're screwed. He's
yeah,
playing, you're like his puppet, and he's just playing you along, and
yeah. It's a game of cat and
yeah,
mouse.
man, it is, and
Yeah. It's
yeah,
crazy because I mean, you're just wondering what's going to happen next. But the thing of it is that Jim decides, instead of staying and maybe trying to explain to the other cops, because there's like 5 cop cars that come, to the jail, and he decides, instead of staying to try to explain, he's like, I'm going to run away. So he's actually running up into the hills and all that type of stuff. And then he pulls over 2 cops himself. It's like, what is going on? Like, you could tell that he was frazzled. He was totally traumatized. And I think C. Thomas Howell did a great job of illustrating that in all of his physicality,
and
but
he was
also
desperate for
what he was
help.
saying.
Yeah,
He
and these cops
was.
didn't believe him,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yep. He says, "Hey, I got to use the CB. Maybe I can straighten this out with the chief and this and that." So he's trying to clear his name. But if you look in the background,
I know,
Coriander,
I
in
love
the back
that. Yeah,
window, what do
I can
you
see it.
see? Isn't that crazy? All of a sudden, the hero of the
Here he
month,
comes. Yeah.
John Ryder, pulls up to the cops and kills them both.
Yep.
Like, what? I mean, and look at the look on Jim Halsey's face, man. It just says it all. It just says it all.
And you see that more than once through the movie where he screams like that.
Oh yeah, man. He definitely put a hell of a lot of effort into this role, no doubt.
Yes. Yep.
A good friend, Foreign Horror, in the chat. What's up, Ed Harris himself? Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
Jason saying he was forced into a situation where he had zero control and put through so much crap. Yeah, man.
Yes.
No
Yep.
doubt. No doubt. And also, just to remind you guys, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button. It helps to support the channel, and we'd appreciate it. Yeah, Foreign Horror, we love this movie too. We really do.
Yeah.
But Jim gets out of the car. The cops are dead. He knows that Ryder is right there, basically still chasing him actively. And he's just losing it, man. He even had a gun and was contemplating
Rubbing
ending it
dirt all
all.
over himself.
I
He
know.
reminded me
Carrie,
of my cat with his kitty litter. There's this one brand I got when he got in it. I mean, he would fling that stuff all over him, and it was gross. I couldn't
Oh
believe
man. Ew, man.
it. Right?
Well, you know, Halsey is putting dirt all over his hair, and Carrie was so funny
All
last
over
night.
his face.
She was
Right?
like, "Don't put dirt in your hair." You know, it was so
It's
funny
exfoliating,
during the watch
like you
party.
said. You just gotta, it's good for your
Yeah.
skin and your scalp.
Yeah. But our next scene that was fantastic is he walks to a diner. You know, there's all these like garages and diners on this long strip of road, this empty
Yep.
road, this apocalyptic road. He goes into this
Mhm.
diner and he's just lost it, man. He's the guy, the guy behind the counter is like, "Kid, are you okay?" And he's like, "No." And he's just sitting there. He puts his hands over his face because he's just so tired, stressed, and traumatized. And
Mhm.
guess who? Look who pops up.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All of it
Timing. Mhm.
right in front of him. Kind of like what Dan said earlier. It's almost like he's damn supernatural. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Rutger Hauer playing John Ryder was all over the place. And then they have this fantastic scene, this dialogue between each other. You know, Halsey is saying, "Why? Why are you doing this?" You know what I mean? And Ryder is being so cryptic and quirky and creepy and evil, you know, and everything that he says to
Mhm.
Jem is such a fantastic scene in and of itself. You know, we've already had a lot of action, but real quick
Yeah.
too, in the chat, we got Jerry. Jerry's in the chat. How you doing? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Welcome, welcome. We're talking about a fantastic film from 1986, The Hitcher. But this interaction between those two, what did you think of this one, Coriander?
Like I said, he
This poor
loves
kid.
torturing this kid. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because he's like, don't move. I have a gun on you. I
That's
don't know
right.
if that's how he said it, but and
Yeah.
then you see under the table that he doesn't, right? And
hmm
he bangs the table, and this kid he just starts shooting. And yeah, it was empty. And
But before that, Ryder had said the gun is empty.
mhm,
You don't have any
yep,
bullets, and Jim
mhm,
didn't believe him, and that's why he like
yep.
did the bump. And
He
man,
opened up. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And
yep,
what a scene. I
yeah, a lot of
mean,
tension.
it was, yeah. This whole movie was, like I said, you were on the edge of your seat from start to end. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it was
And
good.
real, yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where you are just you're captivated.
Yeah.
You truly are captivated. And real quick too, just to give a shout out to our channel members and Patreon members that support us. We want to make
Yeah.
sure that we always thank you guys and give
Thank
you guys
you.
some credit. But we're gonna play
Yeah.
this for you guys real quick. Here we go. A special thank you to all of our patrons and channel members for your amazing and generous support. Become a member today and get exclusive watch parties, monthly hangouts with us in the community, have a say in the content I produce on the channel, early access to videos, and more. Also, you'll be able to highlight yourself as a special supporter of the Nightwatch Zone during our weekly live streams, and also get exclusive emotes and badges to have even more fun. Hit the join button next to the subscribe button, and all links are also in the description below. Yeah. So thank
Nice.
you, all of you guys that are members and Patreon members and
Yeah.
so forth.
There's a
It
bunch
really,
of you.
really,
Holy.
yeah, there's a lot of you guys here in the chat. And again, if you would like to join the membership, just hit the join button next to the subscribe
Yeah.
button. We really appreciate the
Mhm.
support. It means a lot.
Join
But
the zone.
join the zone. Do it. Do it. But yeah, man, this scene is so crazy because
Hmm.
of their interaction and what Rutger Hauer does that's so amazing. And it's subtle, but just little things in his face where you see so many different emotions all at once. You know what I'm saying? Like there's
Yeah.
pity, there's sympathy, there's anger, there's hate, there's, so many things. And I think that's why he was such a special actor, because he could portray different types of characters so
He's a good
effortlessly,
facial actor. Yeah.
He is, man. He is. He
Hmm.
really makes you connect with him. Every time he's on screen, it's just magnetic. And he was
Yep.
always like that. So again, for you guys, if you're not familiar with Rutger Hauer, I would strongly suggest and
Yeah.
urge you to check out his filmography. And
Starting
yeah,
with this movie. Yeah.
yep, absolutely. But a tense scene, and then it ended with something that was really, really just badass, man, because he takes these pennies and he's licking the pennies, and you can't
Yeah,
see
that's
what
nasty.
well, he's evil. He's a nutball, right? But what he
Yeah,
does is
but
he
that's
puts the
nasty.
pennies. Well, we know that, but he. You're so funny. That's nasty. Of course it is. He's John Ryder. But look what he does. He puts them on
Yeah.
Halsey's eyes, like they did for the dead.
Yeah, they did.
Back in the day. Yeah, man. Look at
Mm-hmm.
that. It's just, but it's a great visual, And he
Yep.
said, you're a smart kid. You can figure it out. Basically saying you're gonna die, right?
Mm.
Real quick too, Bobby Lee's in the chat. What's going on? Good to see. Hope you're
Hey.
doing well. Saying it's like the miles and miles of desolate road is John Ryder's natural habitat. It gives him all the advantages as a predator. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's very true. He's at home there. He knows all the ins and outs, and it's wow. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And Mayan saying nice. Yeah, well, thank you. And again, man, thank you so much for your support and everyone else here. We really appreciate it. Seriously,
Yeah.
you guys mean a lot. You guys mean a lot.
Right?
And you're right. She's like in Game of Thrones. Yep, exactly. Back in the olden times, right?
Yeah, I was thinking like Jack the Ripper. Did they do that in London
Uh
and shit? Put pennies over
I
her
think
eyes,
so.
and
I can't remember,
I
but
could be
maybe.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
But Jim, after that, John Ryder leaves, and Jim Halsey's like, okay, and he decides to get on the bus, and he runs into Nash again because she takes the
know.
bus back and forth to work, and he brings her into the bathroom. Is basically like, I didn't kill anyone, because the last time she saw him, he was being taken away by the
Yep.
cops for all those murders. So he's basically trying to get her to believe him, and she's kind of like on the fence, but I think, like we just said, she thinks he's a good guy. He just has that look to him. He seems like he's been through the ringer. And so this is the beginning of them kind of, working together a little bit, or at least her becoming a believer in him on the bus. But the cops come to pull the bus over. And it's like, there's no escape. She says, well, what are you going to do? And Jim says, I'm just going to give up. There's nothing else I can do. And he's basically resigned to, that it's over. And man, tell me what you thought about this scene. These cops, they were pissed off at him, man, because
Like you said, if you're a cop killer, dear God, you're screwed.
yeah,
Because this other cop was like, spit on me or something,
right.
and
He just wanted a
that
reason.
and that other cop was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Shut up!" And if Nash didn't come out of that bus at that moment and save him, who knows what this cop would have done? He probably would have shot him right there.
Oh,
Who
he definitely would have
knows?
shot him. He
Yeah.
definitely would have. And like you said, Nash had come off the bus and basically put a stop to it, saying, drop your guns. And the cop was like, don't do this. This guy's a killer, and all that type of stuff.
And this time, he did get bullets, right? Because Ryder gave him bullets in the diner.
Right. Yep.
So that gun was loaded.
Yep, there were bullets, because she even shot at the cop at the ground to basically say, don't mess with me, let my friend go. Yep.
Yeah.
But Coriander,
well,
this
she was like, I can't believe what she was about to do.
Right. Yeah. She's basically saying, you were about to kill this guy. You're supposed to be a cop. You're supposed to be about, upholding the law. But we get to the point in the movie, guys, where, this movie has so many elements, a thriller, it's got horror, and it also has some great action, man. And this was such a great scene because they're being chased by cops, and man, again, it's 1986, so everything is real. The stunt work, the stunt driving. I mean, look at this, the camera work. This was like reminding me of like the Road Warrior a little bit.
Right.
Look at this. Yeah, these two cops that are basically trying to stop Ryder. And man, you get to the point where we were saying it last night in the watch party while we were watching it. We were like, hit the brake. And sure enough, that's what he does.
He did. Yep.
And they shoot out each other. And this fantastic crash scene that was great, man. It was so cool. But again, C. Thomas Howell did a great job in this movie too, because he's all over the place with emotion, and he's just stunned that he's
trying to survive now.
Yes.
And now he's gonna, it's too bad because now you got to worry about this girl.
Yeah.
Because they're screwed. Because and look what's after him now.
Yeah, you thought you were okay, but Coriander,
Right.
sometimes when you think a situation is bad, it can always get worse because now
Oh,
a
totally.
helicopter is coming for Jim and Nash. Are you
Yep.
serious?
Yep.
Out of the blue, like a shot in the dark, here comes
Yep.
Ryder, and he's shooting at the helicopter. It's
Yep.
crazy. He shoots the helicopter out of the sky. Again, no CGI, just like Jason was saying. Total practical stuff, stunts that
Mhm.
were so fantastic. A lot of men and women in all these types of movies back in the day that never get the credit that they deserve. But it was just great, man. And yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh was really good in this film too.
She's good.
I
Yeah.
haven't said that enough, but she was very good in this film too. All three of the leads were fantastic. Dan saying put Nighthawks on the list for great Rutger Hauer performances. Absolutely, Dan. Good call. Good
Yeah.
call. He just had such a great career. He really
Mhm.
did. The look on Jennifer Jason Leigh's face says it all. She's like, wow, how deep in the shit are we? You
But
know
not
what I'm
only
saying?
that, the realization of he isn't the killer. There is another dude who's
That's
involved
right.
here.
That's right. Yeah, it's
So,
the first
yeah,
time that
man.
she sees Ryder.
Yeah.
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 Yep. And she was like, well, why didn't he kill us? Why didn't he kill us? And so they leave
Yeah.
because, their car is of no more use. And they go to this basically this motel to rest. And you're thinking, wow, maybe they can kind of get their mind together, get situated, and get some help. Because God, man, I mean, it's like a war zone that they just went through. And so the camaraderie that they had, obviously getting to be on the same page was really cool to see between these two characters. And you get to the point where they just got to get some rest. I mean, especially for Jim, he's been through so much. I can imagine
Yeah.
it's amazing that he didn't just faint from all the exhaustion of the fear and the
Mhm.
stress and the trauma. But
Yeah.
maybe they shouldn't have taken a nap, Coriander, because maybe you got to just keep on moving because sure enough,
Well, like
there
you
he
always say,
is.
right, and like you always say, lock your door.
Yes, lock your door. Yep. Although even if it was locked, I'm pretty sure Ryder would have found a way to get in, man. No
Ah,
doubt.
there would have been noise,
Oh
okay?
yeah.
He would have had to
Yeah.
have been noisy, so it would have woken you up.
Yeah.
So,
Good point. Good point. Melissa saying love Jennifer Jason Leigh. She's great in Fast Times
yeah,
at Ridgemont High. Yep.
it's one of my
Yep.
favorite movies also. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, and yeah, Jennifer Jason Leigh was in The Hateful Eight. Plays the guitar, beautiful voice. Yeah, she's very talented, man. I was glad to see her in something more recent because The Hateful Eight was such a great film, and she was wow. And that's all I got to say. She was wow in that film. Definitely a much different character than in here, man. But Ryder's there, and Jennifer Jason Leigh doesn't know, or Nash, I should say, and he just lays on the bed and he's like sitting there for like 20 seconds. And that's
Mhm.
what's so good about this character. He's got so much going on. He's like totally
Yeah, he like
psycho.
spoons her, man.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying even before that, he just lays there beside her, just staring up. And again,
Mhm.
Rutger Hauer just so much going on with his physicality and his face and so forth. But yeah, and then he just lays there with her, and she wakes up, and then boom, it cuts. Jim Halsey was in the bathroom taking a shower, and so he runs out of the motel and he's trying to find her. Again, some really cool camera angles and shots. I love some of these shots with the fog and so forth. It's really
Yeah.
cool stuff, man. Hey,
Mhm.
Denisha's in the
Hello.
chat. What's up? But what comes next? And we're getting into major spoilers here, guys. So again, if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to know any spoilers, totally understand. This would definitely be a time
Yeah,
to
you gotta go.
pause out, watch the
Yep.
movie, and come back and check out the replay. But
Yep.
so I had no idea that this was going to happen, Coriander, when I first saw this movie. He's
Who
running.
did, right?
Right. Good point. Who would have? Exactly.
Yeah, man.
He's running, and then all of a sudden the cops that had been chasing him, this what was it, Sheriff or Chief Etheridge or Embridge, whatever his name was, they catch him and they're like,
Mhm.
you can't go anywhere. And he's thinking, why? And then you see what happens. Nash is tied in between the cab of the truck and the back. And it's like, what is
Yeah.
going on? Ryder tied her up and placed her in there,
Mhm.
basically Bad news, man. And Jim is freaking out. He's like, I gotta save her. And they're like, no, if you go to do that, he's gonna let off of the brake and basically
Yep.
just pull her
It's
apart.
over.
Yeah. I mean, look at that.
Mhm.
Wow. I couldn't believe it when I first saw this movie. It was
I
like,
think her arms would get pulled off before she gets pulled in half.
well, yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
either way, something bad's gonna happen.
Oh
But
yeah.
I just could not believe it. I'm like, well, what's gonna happen?
Mhm.
And you could see Ryder, he's in the cab of the truck and he's like letting off the brake a little bit so it pulls her more and more. She's
Mhm.
screaming. Jim is freaked out. He kind of has this look to her like, like he knows they are in deep shit because Ryder has always been 5 steps ahead of him this whole movie. It's
He
crazy.
can't escape them, yeah. He
He
just
can't.
can't. Yeah.
He can't, man. So they say, look, you're the only one that can talk him out of this. That's what the cops are saying to Jim. And so he reluctantly gets into the truck. And look, this was another great scene between Jim and Ryder. It's like, what? I mean, he basically is talking to him, and Ryder says, I'm gonna give you the gun and I want you to shoot me. And it's like, well, okay, but if he gets shot, then obviously he's going to let up off of the brake and the truck is going to pull Nash apart, right? So it's
Mhm.
almost like he's daring him. And look at the look that Rutger Hauer has given him. I mean, it's like it's crazy. What did you think of this scene, Coriander? Because this is such a shocking scene in general.
Yeah, I mean, once Jim pretty much says I can't do it, he's
Hmm.
like, you messed up, dude. It's
Hmm.
like,
Yeah.
and that was it. And yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, he gives him
crazy.
this look like you could end me right now,
Yeah, it was
you
a very
know,
disappointed look, like, but he knew it. He knew he
right.
wouldn't do it. So
Right.
it's
Right. Well,
like
throughout the whole
he put
movie,
him in
he's
this
trying to
Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead.
He was always trying to push Jim further and further into being able to be a killer, and to being able to do what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like he's a teacher trying to teach Jim, and each time Jim is failing the
I
lesson,
just
and you
think
can
he
see
wanted to die, and where
well that
Jim was
too.
the only
Well,
one who did what he asked, kick me
right.
out, stop
Yeah.
me, and he stopped him.
Right.
And
Well, there
that
was that too.
just, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
he
yeah.
definitely had a death wish. But
Mhm.
ultimately you see the look on Jim's face because whew, that's all I gotta say, guys. And
Yeah,
and and Jennifer Jason Leigh was great in this film, man. But whew,
yeah. Rest
unbelievable.
in peace.
Yes,
So,
indeed, man. Real quick too in the chat as we start to wind down here. Um, yeah, Philip saying I hate that part. Yeah, from the years ago. It was crazy. I didn't expect that, man. I did not
mhm.
expect it. And Dan, good point. Jeffrey DeMunn as the sheriff, he's always good. Loved him in the remake of The Blob. He was
Mm,
in The Mist. Obviously, was Dale on The Walking Dead. He's had a great career.
yeah.
Always stands out. So again, this film had so many great people. Jason saying Jennifer Jason Leigh deserved the Oscar nomination she got for that role in The Hateful Eight. Absolutely, she was fantastic. She really was.
I haven't
Uh,
seen that movie.
yeah, it was a great one. We'll have to watch it at some point. Two boys in the house. What's up, Eric? Saying would have loved to see the version of the movie if Sam Elliott had taken on the role of Ryder. Still a great performance
Mm,
of Howard. Yeah, Sam Elliott was the
mm,
original choice to play Ryder, and I guess from what I understand, he frightened the filmmakers so much that they were like, "Nah, we're not gonna go with him. We're gonna go with
really?
Plan B," and so they went with Rutger Hauer. Yeah,
Wow, that's
yeah.
interesting, man.
Yeah, it was going to be Sam Elliott, and Sam Elliott is amazing too. But I
He is,
gotta
but I
admit,
always picture him in Wyatt Earp and
yeah,
freaking what's that other one with Patrick Swayze?
Roadhouse,
Yes, man.
yeah, yeah. No, but I mean, Sam Elliott is fantastic. But I just think Rutger Hauer has
Yes.
the thing about Rutger
Wow.
Hauer is that he has such menace, right? But he also can have, you know, the a tenderness in his eyes and face
Mhm.
too. You know what I'm saying? Like he can play both sides of the field just effortlessly, back and forth. And I think that's what makes him a more complicated writer. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so glad it went that way. I love Sam Elliott, but I'm just so I'm so
Wow, that's
glad.
crazy that his performance was described that way. That
Yeah,
intrigues me. Hmm.
yeah. So many great elements throughout this film. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But they have Ryder in custody, and Jim Halsey's like, just pissed off, and he's just done, man. He's just really done with all of this, and he's like, what are we doing here? And the thing that got me, and let me just take these down. The thing that got me is that you really got a sense of his exhaustion throughout this whole film. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like he really was like just worn out.
How
It was
could you not be? I
yeah,
mean, you're getting punched in every single way,
yes.
physical, mental, emotional. I
Yep.
mean, yeah, man.
It's true, man. It's absolutely true. Um and you don't have anything else that you can really you can't do anything else. He's basically apprehended, but then they take him, they're walking him basically to a transport vehicle. And Jim Halsey is thinking, this isn't the end. You know what I'm saying? And I,
Mhm.
I was thinking to myself, man, that is it's just so true because you have the situation where Ryder every single time has been able to just break the rules of reality, it seems like. You know what I'm saying? It was just
Mhm.
crazy. I mean, and at this point you have the showdown, which we alluded to in the beginning of the episode. You have
Yeah.
this moment where Ryder kills the guys in the van, the transport van,
Mhm.
and with a shotgun. And then you have that fantastic scene where he breaks out, he jumps out of the back of the van, to
Yeah.
get onto Jim Halsey's vehicle. And then
Yeah.
it's the great shootout scene, which was
Mhm.
fantastic. And it was just wow, mind-blowing. What did you think of the ending? Because it was almost like he was like, this is the final lesson for you, Jim.
Yeah. Was it a lesson? I
Well,
don't
I
know.
don't
I
know.
think
That's how I look
Jim
at
was
it.
at that point of, you've come into my life and I'll look, it's like he brought terror to this dude that wouldn't
Mhm.
stop.
That's
And
right.
I mean, I think he felt that if I don't, it's almost like Jamie Lee Curtis when she wanted to make sure Michael got to his destination like he should. But of
Mhm.
course, it never worked out for Michael, just like with this guy.
Mhm.
If he did not do what he did and threw out that
Mhm.
other sheriff dude and took his vehicle
Right.
and went after him, he would have gotten
Yeah.
away. And who
That's
knows how
right.
many more people would have been killed.
Right,
So,
right. How many
yeah,
how many more families and stuff like
exactly,
that?
man.
Good point.
Right.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing is that we've seen him just kill so many people
Yeah,
like it
it
was
doesn't matter.
nothing.
Yeah,
That's right.
like you said, I mean, you saw those kids and you're
Yeah.
like, wow, man. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's right. But it was just a fantastic scene because it was a standoff,
Yeah.
and you got to the
Yep.
point where Ryder was just with that gun, just shooting out the SUV that Jim was in,
Yep.
and the car had stalled. And he basically, near the end, it said, do it, come on." And so Jim hits him
Mm-hmm.
with the vehicle, and you think that's it, but it's not. Jim decided to
No.
not shoot Ryder. Ryder is down on the ground, and Jim still didn't go over the edge. You know what I mean? Like throughout this whole film,
Not till he
this
had to, right?
well, right, but I'm just saying, up until this point, you would have thought he would have,
Mm-hmm.
because he, like you said, he chased after Ryder. He didn't have to do that. He could have just gone away with the cops. He was cleared. He was free. They could have
Mm-hmm.
driven him across the country if they wanted to, whatever. And he decided to go after Ryder because, like you said, he figured that Ryder was going to escape, and other families, innocent people, were going to be in harm's way. But even at the end, after he hits Ryder with the vehicle, Ryder's on the ground, unarmed. Jim still didn't, didn't wasn't going to kill him. It
Yeah.
was crazy.
Yeah.
But it was a great scene. And then, just like in any of these types of horror movies, Ryder gets up And it was kind of cool because what he does is he throws his handcuffs that he had broken out of. He throws his handcuffs, right behind Jim because Jim had his back because he thought he was dead. He turned around. He throws the handcuffs when they hit the ground. It sounds like a gun, like he was, cocking the gun. And sure enough, finally, Jim turns around and just shoots him, like blasts him away, man. It was crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy, man.
And then
Real
the
quick,
sunset and the end.
and then it just cut, it just showed his silhouette resting against the SUV because he was totally just tired as hell. And then the credits were rolling. I thought it was a very cool cinematic way to show the credits while they were still, showing Jim there. And Carrie saying the movie was amazing. It is, Carrie. And we were so we were so happy to have you here with us watching it live.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yep. Bobby's saying he got off on mentally torturing Jim. Torturing Jim. John has no real emotion. Jim is all emotion. Ryder must have tortured insects and animals as a kid. Probably.
I bet.
Probably. He's just operating on a different level. You know?
You can see the evil. Like, look at his face right there. It just looks evil.
Yeah. Paul, I say I haven't seen the movie yet, but that guy is hot. Paul, it's a great movie. Seriously, check it out. It's on Amazon Prime.
Right?
It's a really, really good movie. Yeah, mate. This seriously, guys, this is a great one. There's no doubt about it. But yeah, man. Whew. Now Eric is saying, if Attach as a director to this film, Night and Coriander, is there anything you would have added or subtracted in this film? Wow, that's a hard one to answer. I think it's such a great movie. I like that it's lean and mean. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
That being
Maybe
said,
editing it up a little bit and to touch it up here and there. Like where scenes might just be a little bit not too long, but you know what I mean. Just to clean it up a little bit. But
I think the breakout, his breakout at the jail, that scene could have been probably tightened up a bit for sure. Because that one, I mean, I know they were drawing out the tension, but yeah, that definitely, I agree with you.
Yeah.
That was a scene that could have done that. Yeah, I would say. No, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say. I mean, the way the director did it. I mean, like we said from the start, it started right off. The tension just kept building, and yeah, man.
Yeah,
I think the director did excellent. So
yeah. I think the director did a great job too, and I think
Yeah.
that it hit the ground running from the beginning, and it kept going all the way to the end, and it didn't really have
did.
it didn't have too much lulls at all.
It just
I
kept,
mean,
the stakes just kept raising, and yeah,
I think if
man.
there was anything, if I was to add to it, and I don't necessarily know if it would make it better, but I just love these characters so much. I would have loved to have seen another scene with Ryder and Jim together because every time they were in the same frame, it was magic as far as just the tension and the eeriness and the fear and the emotion. It was just so cool, man. That'd be the one thing I
Yeah.
probably would add. And Carrie, it was so much fun having you with us watching it. It was so much fun. And by the way, for you guys, if you're here, we do our slasher movie club watch-alongs. We try to do them every Sunday, and we hang out. And if you're if you're a member of the channel, we try to get a chance to get some of you guys on the panel with us live and so forth. So if you are considering being a channel member, just hit the join button next to the subscribe button, and it also helps to support us. We really appreciate it. But it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah. Good movie.
Bobby makes a good point too. Ryder scared me so much in this film, but years later, it was the character of Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men that jacked me up mentally. Yeah, Anton was definitely a great character as well. No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. So as always, when we do these, we have to kind of take account, Coriander, if you know what I'm getting to here.
I do.
Because sometimes
This
you gotta
is the count I like. No.
what? All right, guys.
I'm just playing.
Let's always, as usual, let's see how many. First of all, Coriander, let me ask you this off the top of your head, without thinking too much. How many kills do you think was in this film?
Oh my God.
Just throw a number out. Just give me a
12.
number. 12. Okay, let's find out. Here we go, guys. Let's find out what the kill count was.
Holy
20.
shit.
15 by Ryder, 5 by Jim.
Wow. Jim killed 5 people?
Yeah. Yep.
I guess while driving, huh?
Yep.
I'll be right back.
Dang.
I'll be right back. I love it. Yeah, Jim, because when he shot out the, when he with the
He
cops.
stopped. Well, that
Yeah.
wasn't Jim's fault. That was the
Well,
cops.
look.
I wouldn't
man,
blame that on Jim.
Don't get too technical. But anyways, the point
I'm
being,
getting technical.
it was like 20, man. It was crazy.
That
Man
is
thought
crazy.
10.
Wow. And to think
Good
most
try.
of that's cops.
And of course,
that's
Ryder at the
crazy.
end.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
And Eric saying, are you going to be doing a watch party for the second one? We might. I'll just tease that out there. We might. So definitely keep your eyes peeled. We usually try to announce that ahead of time. And for you guys that are channel members, I communicate with you guys. Sometimes you guys probably think too much, but multiple times a week. So I, usually try to tell people if we're doing our watch alongs. So definitely keep your eyes open, Eric. And if you'd like to join on with us, obviously that'd be cool. And so as usual with these movies, we have to give it a score. So we're going to go to our badge system. Just to explain this, Coriander. We've got our 4 badges, meaning that we think the film is excellent. It's a must watch and you should own it on physical media if you can. We also have our 3 badges, meaning that it's good. And we have our 2 badges, meaning that you could take it or leave it, or chance it. And then, of course, we have the dreaded 1 badge, which means it's horrible, aka dark territory, aka don't go in the woods alone, aka blood cult, aka good night, God bless, aka student bodies, and so
God.
forth. Yeah, baby. You knew I was gonna do it. I gotta get some credit for that, man. That to do that, that's pretty good. So for you guys in the chat, let us know how many badges you want to give the Hitcher. Coriander, what are you gonna give the Hitcher for a score? Wow.
4.
You're going all the way with the 4.
All the way.
You didn't even think about it. So look, let me tell you this. We have been very lucky in that sense that for the last maybe 2 months of Slasher Movie Club, we've had a lot of good movies that we've watched.
Yeah.
And we've done a couple of 4s.
4 and 3s, yeah.
Yeah. And just the other week, 3 weeks ago or so, I was talking about we were talking about American Psycho, and I gave that a 4. I'm going to tell you what, man, for the Hitcher, there is absolutely no doubt in God's great universe. This is a 4 badge movie, bro.
Right.
This movie is fantastic, guys. It's so cool. We didn't even talk about the music. The music was so good and got that little bit of that 80s, ambiance going on. It's so cool, guys. It's a great one.
Yeah.
It really is. Yep. Let's see. Mayanne said, we don't ever think it's too much. Oh, well, I'm glad because, I try to keep in touch with you guys that are members and, keep the conversations going and getting feedback from you guys and stuff like that. So thank you, man. You're so sweet. Dan going with 4 badges for 4 ketchup covered fingers. Jeez. Jason going with 4. May's going with 4. Melissa's going with 4. Carrie says, I would actually give this 4 because the music was spot on. The acting was spot on. It was fantastic. And she says, I want that poster. It is a great poster, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Eric's going with 4. Paul is going with 5. All right. Yes. Let's see. Yeah. And so it was a great film. Film. For all of you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really, really appreciate it. And, we'll see what we're going to be doing next. Sometimes we like to keep that as a little bit of a surprise, but keep your eyes peeled. And Coriander, this was episode number 98 of Slasher Movie Club.
Wow.
Crazy?
We're almost there. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So, for all of you guys that have been hanging out with us, some of you guys for all 100 episodes that we're almost at, especially, Dan and Neil, you guys literally are with us every single week. It's crazy, because we know that that's tough to do, man. Everyone's got lives, but you guys are always
so
there.
cool that you hang out with us. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, you guys are the
It's
reason that
awesome.
helps us keep doing it, to be honest with you. But Eric,
Yeah. Yep.
Val, Carrie,
Yep.
Melissa, Gina, Jason, all you
So
guys,
many
Philip, and
others. There's
so many others.
Yeah. If we
It's
could only
crazy.
list
So
you all, right?
that's right. So needless to say, we're gonna have to commemorate episode 100. Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
have to do that. Yeah, it's gonna be
Party.
fun.
We get a
Yes,
party.
indeed. True enough.
Nice.
True enough.
Nice.
Alrighty, guys. And Paula was saying, wasn't C. Thomas Howell also in Criminal Minds? I think he was. I know he's done
I'm
some
not
some
sure.
TV work.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely done some other stuff. He's good, man. He's really,
He
really good.
is.
Underrated. Very underrated.
Mhm.
But yeah, so for you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. Definitely don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support us. Leave us a comment in the comment section. Let us know some of your favorite moments from the Hitcher, and kind of the things that make it stand out for you as a classic film from the 80s. Let us know. We can have a conversation that continues in the comment section. And as always, we'll catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Nightwatch. Peace.
Chitch.